Well, if you guys are just joining me, I probably won't be on the mic too much. I'm going to be focusing in on this footage, but you guys are welcome to hang out in the chat and help be my eyes. More eyes, the better. If you guys want to go back and replay this footage, feel free. Good morning. Anything I like? Sorry, I probably won't be chatting too much, but I plan on spending at least an hour this morning kind of going over this footage a little bit in slow motion and taking my time. You guys are more than happy to join. You guys can jump in and help if you'd like. Good morning, Beth. Yeah, me too. Me too. Oh, there's a lot of ruins out there. Oh, you mean rune. Yep, I see a lot of sticks too. Hey, Charlotte, welcome in. I know this isn't the most exciting live, but if you guys want later on, if you want to look through this footage yourself, please do. I'm going to go through this a million times and then we're going back out. I can't tell, Beth. Kind of looks like a knee bone to me. Kind of looks like a knee bone with a little bit of flesh on it. And this all has GPS information on it too, so when I go back out there, I can go take a closer look. But it kind of looks like a broken shin bone right here, maybe cracked, and then what appears to be a little bit of flesh wrapped around it, but I can't be certain. But anything of interest that I find, I put it to the side and I mark the GPS, and then when I go out there, I'm going to take a closer look. Trying to see if there's anything else that might be scattered. All right. Looks like we got a different view on it. It's probably just a cactus skeleton of a cactus. Yeah, it just looks like a piece of wood, maybe. It's this weird, like, whatever this stuff is, it looks like it's wrapping around it, is what's got me concerned. And I don't see anything similar to it anywhere nearby. So, but we'll come back to that. Looks like it has some pieces that are protruding out right here that aren't. Try to get another angle on it. Yeah, see, now it's more round. From this angle, it's much more round. Yeah, we'll come back to that. You got mountain lions, you got javelinas, coyotes, wild dogs. So if anything's gonna scatter bones in the desert, it'll most likely be, the coyotes. We have wildcats out here too, bobcats and wildcats. I don't know right off the top. I can get that information. I think he was like 5'9", maybe 5'8", 5'9". He doesn't seem to be that tall. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, I figured he's about 5'8".
Big story tonight, a gruesome discovery in the far west valley as a woman out on a desert trail finds a human skull and other remains in Buckeye. This happened.
Can you guys hear that? So while Daniel went missing, a lot of people had their eyes open and they were keeping their eyes open for any signs of him. And some people who were out, I think they were just riding the trails out there. They discovered a body. So this is probably what we're looking for. Something similar to this. As gruesome as it is, you know, if we're gonna find Daniel, this is probably what we're looking for.
Yesterday afternoon near Southern Avenue and Johnson Road. And while the county works to identify the remains, many wonder, could this be local geologist Daniel Robinson, who was last seen in 2021? Team 12's Chase Golightly spoke with Daniel's father about this possibility.
David Robinson has never given up on the search for his 25-year-old son, but this potential development is a situation he's been in before. And we do want to warn our viewers, the photos you're about to see may be disturbing. Out in the middle of nowhere, a sight no one would want to find.
It was absolutely freaky.
A human skull tucked away on the side of this.
Okay, so I think this is going to be something that we're looking for here. It's not going to be easy. So we're most likely going to be looking for a skull and a spinal column similar to this. Everything else is going to be probably scattered or even taken from the scene. But I think in the case of Dylan Redwine, these were the two pieces that were found near each other. So I figured by the time they've scavenged, there's really not much left and no reason to take these two items. So I'm assuming they're both left behind by the animals. But yeah, this is what we're looking for. At the time that they discovered these remains, they had been way too decomposed and had been out there for way too long. And they were almost certain that it wasn't Daniel. I believe it was a female from the local area. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And these are the things that I'm looking for is more scattered bones, unfortunately. Good to see you, V. Right here, V, I think I'm at about 10, anywhere between 10 and 11 or 10 and 12 meters. And I have it zoomed in times one or times two. No problem. Yeah, and if any of you guys want to spend some time looking at this footage, please do. I mean, even if it's just 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, I'm going to go over it over and over and over. And then once I'm comfortable, we're going to go back out there. And we'll move the grid, I think, a little bit closer to more east. And I'll drive my Jeep a little bit further out into this desert and we'll move it forward. Then eventually we'll cover like a probably like an 8-mile block. What's up, Cindy? Now we're kind of following the canal a little bit over, and we're going to turn around and we're going to finish the right side of the grid on the way back. And every once in a while, we run out of batteries, so the drone comes flying back home. But don't worry, plug in another battery, and we cover that ground. So now we'll be turning back towards my base camp where the Jeep is and heading back. Were you talking about that white item? That one right there? Is that what you're referring to right there, V? Texas Longhorns. Exactly, V. That's why there's nobody out there. I mean, in the summer, if I didn't have my cooler with me and the Jeep and I was stuck out there, it's probably about 5 miles to the nearest town. And I don't know if you can make it, in 115-degree heat. Like, I know people talk about humidity and how it's worse, but the truth is, out in the Arizona desert, you could literally die within 20, 30 minutes if you're not well hydrated and if you're not in good condition. I mean, it'll cook you. It will literally cook you out there. You feel like you're in a stove, in an oven. feel like somebody wrapped you in tinfoil and buttered you up and put you in an oven. So any moisture you have in your flesh, it's just cooking it right out of your body. Literally. Yeah, it's very similar to that. What's up, Hiawatha? Good morning. Yep, this is what the heat has done to this part of the world. Imagine what it'll do to you. If I remember correctly, Hiawatha, anywhere between 10 and 10 to 15 meters off the ground. I started off at about 25, 30, and I realized I was way too high. So I dropped down and I magnified it by times two. Yeah, V, this is definitely a top of the line drone. I definitely couldn't afford it without the help of the crew. You know, they pretty much covered almost half. And if we plan to find anybody, we definitely need this. This is an important tool for us. It would take a search party. It would take a search party days to cover what I covered in just 2 hours. Looks like a piece of trash right here. A bag or something. Yeah, we got a little critters, groundhogs, snakes. Gophers, ants. Got a lot of red ants out here. They make giant ant hills. But this looks like maybe a gopher or snake or something. Yeah, that's the only thing, Hiawatha. And there's a good chance he's under there. Hopefully technology will get better and maybe AI can help kind of determine what's out here. The good thing is Amazon has a technology. Not quite sure how much it is. I'm gonna find out today, but I should be able to download it and get my hands on it. Um, depending on how much it is, we might have enough in the Cash App right now to go for it. Hopefully, it's only like maybe $60 or maybe it's free. I don't know. But Amazon has this technology where you can you basically feed all your drone footage into it, and then you put all these items in there, like maybe an image of Daniel, um, image of a skeleton, image, certain images. And the AI can actually look under these bushes and look through here and kind of find out if what you've loaded up as reference points, it'll search for that. So we're getting close. We do have the technology, and I'm going to start exploring that a little bit today, and maybe that can help us. And I'll see what we need to do to feed this video into that software. But that's what the pros are using, and they're getting results. They're finding people with this AI. They used it for while they were looking for Aiden Clune. They didn't get any results, but they were very confident with this software. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Yep, Prime Day. Yes, ma'am. That's what we were waiting for. Prime Day. And shout out to everybody who's been sending donations to the Cash App. All that money goes directly back to these cases, guys. That's what we're using it for. You think I'm out here because it's fun? We're trying to help. It was 115 degrees when I went out there. And when you go out there early in the morning like I did, you have to be very careful about rattlesnakes. They like to come out into that cool weather right between dusk and dawn. Kind of looks like a vertebrae. Yeah, it was just a bag. Now remember, Daniel's out here. He doesn't have any clothes on. He's not wearing any shoes. I believe he may just have his underwear on. I believe the day he went missing, it was under 100 degrees, so it is possible he was able to walk on this hot ground. But if he was suffering from psychosis, we've looked at some cases where people, they go walking and they didn't even realize it. Me and Brad from Outside of the Grid, he shared a video of a guy who had killed his roommate, and he couldn't control himself. He couldn't stop it, and he said afterward he just went walking. He had been walking for hours and didn't even realize it. Didn't even know he had been walking or why. I might get me maybe another battery or two. This gave us about 2.5 hours of footage. I think we need more. We covered about a 3-mile block. I just wish we could have done a little bit more out there. If I had an ATV, I mean, the Jeep's good for out there, but we don't have off-road tires or anything. We got air shocks, and it's a trail edition, but I'm pretty sure I scratched it up on the side because I had to go through a wash. Had to drive 4-wheel through a wash just to get to the area that I wanted. I didn't want anybody off the main road to see me. There's a lot of sketchy people out there. Yes, we could see footprints. You can see animal footprints that, when I fly over the wash, you can see them. Looks like javelina tracks. And I saw some human tracks too, right next to what appeared to be dirt bike tracks. Looked like somebody maybe walked into the wash to maybe go to the restroom or something. The only problem with those tracks is every time it rains, those are gone. It floods out here. We have flash floods. So the next time I come out here too, well, actually, maybe the third time. The second time I come out, we're going to do another grid like this. I don't know yet. And then the third time, I'm just going to follow all of the washes all the way up, all the way back. I'm going to track them all because there is a good chance that the water pushed him into one of those washes. And a lot of the animals live in those washes because that's where the big trees are. They get the water there, so they're able to grow, and you're going to find shade there. So if you have the wildlife there scattering remains, there's a good chance they could be pulling them into these washes. But I kind of want to complete these grids first and then go back. And then I'm going to go, there's a mountain. You can't see it here, but it's kind of to the west of where we were originally flying. I want to cover that entire mountain. So maybe that'll be on the third trip. I just want to finish this 8-mile grid here. Yeah, they found his socks. Private investigator. Well, they found one at the scene, and then a private investigator found the other one. Not far away. I think kind of going in this direction. It's very possible that he covered a lot of ground here. I'm going to say at least 10 miles. People might say how or why. Well, the truth is, Daniel probably didn't even know how or why. This whole incident is probably caused because he was going through a mental health crisis, motivated by things we can't even begin to understand. Audible voices, delusions. Um, could have been any of that stuff, or all of the above. Sorry, V, there's a delay. I'm not quite sure where you were referring to. But the reason I'm doing this is so you guys can, if you want to access the video and look at it on your own, feel free. You know, if I miss anything, just go ahead and email me, and we'll take a closer look. Everything it has GPS on it, so if we need to pinpoint a certain spot, I have the subtitles hidden right now, but they're there. And in the subtitles, there's the GPS information is contained. So anything we find will have a precise location on it. What the hell is that? You guys see that? I know that looks really strange. Just some pareidolia. Kind of look like a skull, an arm, and some knees kind of tucked up in a fetal position. But when you do a close up, that's not what we're seeing. Yeah, even if it's 5, 10 minutes, you know, the more eyes, the better. I'm going to go over this footage a few times. Welcome in, caricature. How you doing? Cash App is probably the best way. You can do Zelle too, but Cash App is the preferred way. It's easier for me to keep track of it there. And then knowing that it's all there, anything I do with the Cash App card will go directly to these efforts. Yeah, eventually we're hoping to set up like a nonprofit, but that's basically what that is. See, these are the tough areas right here. Need to talk my buddy into coming out with me one of these days with his ATV. That way we can come up to all these little areas right here and look under these trees. Get a PO box so us old people who can't use apps can send you things, money. Well, I don't mind giving you like my address. I don't care. People like you, Hiawatha, just email me if you guys really want to. I'll give you my address. I don't care. I ain't scared, and I trust you. And the good news is there's a lot of people back here doing a lot of off-roading and stuff. Like, for instance, you can kind of see a burnout right here from what appears to be maybe a dirt bike. So if he's out there, there's a good chance that one of these off-roaders might find him. I'm going to print some posters next time I go out there, and I'm just going to randomly put them out here. Because we have a laminator. I'm going to laminate them, and I'm going to bring out just some thin metal stakes. I already ordered them on Amazon. So we'll stake those into the ground near a lot of these off-road trails. Just so people know, like, hey, keep your eyes open. You know, there's a missing person out here, and he's most likely a recovery situation at this point. That's something that they did with Chelsea Grim, and I thought it was a really good idea. What's that, Hiawatha? Oh yeah, the pareidolia. I'm looking for anything unusual too. When Chelsea Grim went missing, for whatever reason, she was building totems. Do you guys know what that is? Like rocks that are stacked up from large to small. Well, when we went searching for her, we actually found one of the totems that she put up, and I tipped that into law enforcement. So, I mean, we're looking for anything strange too, you know. What's up, Mustang? Good to see you. Yeah, if you see anything strange, Beth, go ahead and timestamp it and shoot me an email. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm looking mostly for bones, maybe a pair of underwear, whether it's tidy whities or some boxer briefs. I'm not sure, but mostly bones. Yeah, usually when I'm out camping and I see like a deer or an elk carcass, that's usually all you're going to find is like the ribs and the spinal column and then the skull nearby. Everything else has been taken off by the timber wolves and coyotes and whatever else, the bears. But for whatever reason, the spinal column and the skull are always nearby. This one looks too narrow. We'll do a close up on it. Yeah, Beth, it is kind of. Our eyes are trained that way. We see something that looks a little out of the ordinary, but a lot of times it could be shadow games. And just a simple change of angle or change of lighting, can reveal it. But we definitely want to take a closer look if you see anything strange. What's up, CJK? Yeah, and if you guys see anything, like I said, timestamp it, screenshot it, and email it to sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And I'll go back and take a closer look. And I'm highlighting anything that I find that's of interest. I'm pinpointing the coordinates. And when I get back out there, I'm going to actually physically go look at it. Yeah, I grew up running around these deserts. Stumbled across plenty of rattlesnakes out here. Found a bull snake yesterday during my walk. It was a little baby one. It's like a strange cluster of rocks right here. What up, Stingy? Oh yeah, Hiawatha. I guarantee that they did. But there's just so many. There's no way that you can physically look under all of these bushes. You would need an army. So I encourage everybody, anybody in the area, just if you want to go for a hike, if you want to go take your ATV, go out and have some fun. And while you're out there, look around. I could hear people shooting out here. I could hear people riding. And that was at 6 in the morning when I got there. It's about an hour drive to get out there. Yeah, I don't know what that was. It looked like a cluster of rocks. Seemed a little out of the ordinary. Oh, I do. I do. Oh yeah, there's Indian burial grounds all over in the high desert in northern Arizona. Most of them had been marked with the historical marker, but there's a lot that haven't been discovered or marked yet. I'm sure there's some undiscovered ruins out there somewhere. When we went searching for Chelsea Grim, we found two Indian burial sites. I don't know. It kind of looked like a hand with a watch on it, but after further inspection, I don't think so. Yeah, a lot of off-road vehicles out here, dirt bikes and things like that. They're just going so fast, they're not paying attention to anything. They're just out having fun. But if we put some posters out here, they can't help but think about it. Well, he'll be happier if we can find something for him. Yeah, this is just the beginning of our search, guys. This is going to be a long, tedious one. There's been some pretty good efforts out here. They've had helicopters, they've had drones out here, they've had people on horseback. It's just such a vast area. They need all the help that they can get. And I'm only an hour away, so I mean, it's not just me either. I couldn't have afforded this drone without your guys' help, so. And the donations that I had to get out to Chelsea, get out there to look for Chelsea Grim, I couldn't have done that without you guys either. It's not easy trying to be a YouTuber. This is a poor man's job. This is a job for somebody living in their mom's basement. So as long, somebody with plenty of time. Thank God I'm in the position where I have time. Spent my entire life putting myself in this position. I told my wife I'm having a midlife crisis. Yeah, I just want to go help. I don't want to sit in an office anymore and fucking talk business all day and talk money and how much of a badass I am and how goal oriented I am. Look at all the money I made this month. I'd rather be doing this. But unfortunately, I can't do it without you guys. I really can't. What I searched was a 3-mile block. And I went probably as far as you see it. I went over and went back the other way. Went over another 20, 30, maybe 10 yards and went back up. And that's how I'm doing my grid. But the entire area that I want to search is about 8 miles. And then I have another area that I'm going to move to. And there's some focus points like all the washes. I want to travel down all the washes, and then there's a side of a mountain that I'm really interested in. Only because if he was suffering from psychosis and his feet weren't burning and he made it at least 10 miles, for whatever reason, he could have been drawn to that mountain, even if it was just to go get a better look at the area. And he could have took a break there, and that could have been it. It looks like the battery's dead. So this is when the drone decides, hey, you don't have enough battery to make it home. So I'm coming home now just to ensure that it'll make it. But look how far I am. I'm over here by the base of this mountain. You can kind of see these group of trees over here. That's where I'm at. 3 miles over here. I think so, Hiawatha. I told you whenever there was a problem in my family where they just couldn't figure it out, like when my nephew was missing, they called me and I found him. And all I had was his last ping on his phone from the police officers that were working his case. They gave my sister the pin, and I asked her, I said, give me all the information that law enforcement gave you. They said, well, they gave me this, and then they pinned the area where they last pinned his phone. So when I got off work, I didn't go home. I went directly to that area, and I searched it for over 3 hours, and I was getting ready to go home, and I said a prayer. I said, Lord, please help me. If he's out, help me find my nephew. And something just clicked in my head. It was bizarre. And something told me to go back by the McDonald's. And I went back by the McDonald's. And at the stoplight, I looked inside the McDonald's, and there was my nephew with 3 grown men. Parked my vehicle out of sight. And they were getting ready to leave. So as they were leaving, I jumped out of my truck and ran over and was banging on the window, and I scared the shit out of all these guys. They were like, "Oh fuck, who the hell is this guy?" And I was all, "That's my nephew right there." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine, blah blah, we'll call his mom." I was like, "No." I was like, "You're going to park right there. I'm going to call his mom, and she's going to come and get him." And they wouldn't give her when my sister got there. They wouldn't give my nephew to him. So I'm not going to go ahead and tell you what I did next. But either way, we got my nephew back, and I was out of there before the cops showed up. It's like, I'm out. But yeah, I mean, it was really weird. And that's why I talk about intuition. It's more like a discernment. It's your subconscious identifying things, and it's God. So maybe you're right. Maybe that is my purpose. I just want to help. And I always feel like I have something helping me, like a guardian angel or something. It's weird. So just give the glory to God, and I think you can expect good results. Hey, Cindy, what's up? How you doing? Well, there's my base camp. And I have a video that I'm trying to upload. It didn't come out very well, but I searched all through this wash right here too on foot. Because when I first, the first flight I took, it filled up my SIM card like quickly. And I was like, shit, because I didn't format it correctly. So good thing I brought my laptop and everything. I was able to get all the video onto one of my hard drives, portable hard drive. And then I reformatted the disk and then we were good. But you guys see this mountain back here? This is a popular hiking trail on the opposite side and a Jeep trail. But maybe on the third go around, I'm going to completely search this mountain right here. We'll do a grid on this side, and then I'll drive around the back side and we'll do the same thing. We'll mainly focus on the top here. I think it's possible he chose to climb up here for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that. People who are suffering from psychosis. A lot of times they'll track their, the last set of footprints they find will be up on a peak. And we know Amanda Nenegar knew to go up on top of this peak so that she can get a good view and decide where she wanted to go. So we're probably about 8 miles away from where they found, 8 to 10 miles from where they found Daniel's Jeep. But you see these vast washes right here? Yeah, that's the wash I had to drive through right there, and it scratched the shit out of the side of my Jeep. But I didn't want any of these vehicles to see me out here. Didn't want to have to bust a cap. So there's my little base camp. I think that was my first battery. Not bad, huh? Good battery life. When did they have the heart beside the chat box? Yeah, washes. We're going to hit those washes for sure. I was tempted. I was tempted to get them out there when I was there, but I didn't want to waste any of the batteries. I have a plan. I want to get this 8-mile grid done. Then I'm going to hit the washes. Then I'm going to hit the mountain. And then I'm going to go back near where they found his Jeep, and I'm going to research the area that they've already searched. But my gut is telling me that he traveled outside of that search perimeter. That's what my gut's telling me. That yes, it was hot. He may have been naked, no shoes. But we don't have any idea of what was motivating him. And maybe he doesn't either. Or didn't. Okay, so I think it was at that point I put everything on the hard drive, and then we're getting ready to fly off. Yeah, at this point, I'm cooking. I tried to hide in the shade. The way I parked my Jeep was to create some shade for myself and put my little table up against the Jeep. But if you hide in the shade behind the Jeep, you don't get good RC reception. You know, you don't have a good connection to the drone from your remote control. So I had to get up and make sure that the antenna were pointing towards it in that direction. So you'll probably see me slide over to the left right here to move my grid over, and then we're gonna go all the way to the canal, and you can see the canal is runs parallel with those power lines. So yeah, I got a ton of gear with me. Okay, so we're adjusting the angle, and we're gonna move over some, and we're gonna go ahead and run our second back and forth on the grid. It's not well traversed. The hiking trail is on the other side, but I'm sure some people do make it up there. But remember, they found that body, the body that I showed you guys that they discovered out there by hikers. She had walked by that body multiple times. But now that they were looking for Daniel, she was keeping her eyes open. She was actually part of the original search party for Daniel. She had Daniel's father's phone number. So when she found those remains, the first thing she did was call Daniel's father. So, I mean, people could be walking right by him this entire time and not even realize it. He could be right there, just in a crevice, behind a rock, under a tree, in some tall grass. Now, right here, you can see that this is where there's deer out here as well. You can tell they've been kind of sleeping right there. Yep. I mean, she said she walked by that area 3 times a week. And then as soon as she did it after Daniel went missing, she found a skull and a spinal cord. And thank God they found that missing woman. And I walked all through those trees. Yeah, they found I don't think this is who you're talking about, V, but they found a missing person. Her name was Mytrice Richardson. She was suffering from psychosis. She walked over 15 miles and they found her on the top of this very steep mountain, right off the edge of a cliff of a mountain. They found her bones and her bones were scattered um, probably in about a 15-foot area. So we're about 20 yards over to the left of the original flight pattern. Yep, exactly. So once we're done with what we got scheduled here, we're going to go back to the original search area and we're going to do some more low flying and maybe do some hiking and some driving around. Because what I don't understand is Daniel's Jeep was not far from where he was reported missing from. They had helicopters and drones and they didn't find it. I just don't understand how they didn't find his Jeep. So I mean, there could be a conspiracy involved. You know, there's ranchers out there for all we know. Um, you know, this could be a murder. Even though Daniel was suffering from psychosis, that could have caused him to say or do something that somebody found offensive, especially if he's walking around naked and a rancher finds him and something strange happens. You know, you just never know what people might do. Predators get triggered. We know people get held in basements for years on end. But what most likely happened is he walked and walked and walked and was highly motivated for reasons that maybe he's not even aware of or even knew and succumbed to the elements, unfortunately. So on this round, I decided to get him a little bit closer to the ground. And I'm glad that I did. Much more easier to see. Yeah, V, that's Amanda Nenegar. You know, there was huge search efforts for her, and they found her, I think, less than a mile from her vehicle, and she was naked and under a tree. Why they get naked? Not sure. One case that I covered, the person got naked. This person was found alive, but reported that the reason that they go out into the wilderness and get naked is so that they can hear the voices better, much more clearly. So that's the toughest part about all of this, is that we don't know what's motivating them, and in most cases, neither do they. It's got to be very frustrating for the family members and the people involved in these cases. It just does not make any sense. Yeah, not even just racism, Hiawatha, just creepiness, right? I see a person suffering from mental illness. Nobody's looking for them, or they'll think they just died out here. We'll go ahead and kidnap them and hold them and do sick shit. There's no evidence of that. I'm just saying, if eventually he's not found, they need to start looking into something else. Maybe a coworker. If Daniel was suffering from psychosis, maybe he did something to a coworker that they didn't like, or something along those lines, because they didn't find his Jeep right away. So maybe it wasn't out there. But the truth is, everything points that Daniel crashed his Jeep, kicked open the sunroof, walked out of his Jeep, stripped down to his skivvies, and just walked out into the wilderness. Now, I don't know which direction he went. My gut tells me that he went northeast, because there's a canal right there. There's only two places that you can cross that canal. One is a small road, and the other is a large wash. Now we're searching, if he was to cross where the wash kind of pours through between the canal area, I think that's where he walked through. That's where we're searching right now. Thank you, V. Yeah, they did find his Jeep but it took them 3 weeks, and then they found it. And they had helicopters and drones and horses and everything out there. I mean, it was in a ravine, and it was kind of grayish. So it was kind of like a grayish green. So if you were too high up, it may have appeared the same shape and color as one of these trees here, or these bushes. Here, let me pause this and I'll show you guys. So how are you? How can you not find that? You're in a helicopter. He went missing. His coworker told him he went in this direction. I just don't understand how it took him 3 weeks to find that, and they didn't even find it. A rancher did, which is suspicious as well, right? Oh, we found a Jeep. All right. Did you dust it for fingerprints? Did you, could have been dumped out there. So they believe he kicked open this hatch right here. There's some, well, not kicked open, but there's some release levers inside the Jeep. They believe he kicked open the door here, walked out, took off his boots, his pants, and a shirt that had the Joker on it, and his work vest, which is covered in reflective decals, which you think would have been reflecting on the helicopter footage or the drone footage or whatever. Let me pull up a map and show you where we are. Yep, no problem. Hey, Witchcraft, how you doing? Okay, there we go. Okay, so they found Daniel's Jeep here. He was working here at the well, and he was only with one coworker. Now, he had never met this coworker before. This is somebody, another company that they were partnered with. So this was the first time they met, which is also suspicious, right? First time they meet, maybe Daniel's acting weird, insulting him. Or who knows, something, maybe they got into a fight, or maybe they had some time to kill. The boss, apparently Daniel got a call from his boss saying, I know you're out there at the job site, but we're delayed and we're going to be held up doing something else. I don't want you guys out there twiddling your thumbs. So they had some time to kill. So who knows? Maybe they were doing drugs or something and got into an accident. I don't, there's no evidence for that. But it just makes you wonder. But what most likely happened, because Daniel was acting very strange the weeks leading up to this, is that he was suffering from a medical issue. And I believe it was at this point here where he could have gone back to the main road right here, or he could have gone left or right. And his coworker said that his tracks went in this direction. So if he's trying to go out into the desert, he can't do it right here because there's a fence. See it? But if he's familiar with this area, he knows all he has to do is travel down to right here. And now he has access to the vast open area. So they tracked him all the way down this road. And I'm not sure if he went this direction, which he most likely did, but he could have also gone this way. But in my opinion, he took this road here. Followed this here. And I think he took a sharp turn right here. And he kind of went in at an angle right here. So the area that they searched was this area here. All the way to the canal and back down. So that's the perimeter. Now the wash that I was talking about is right here. And this wash is less than 8 miles away. Now we know from past cases that folks who are suffering from psychosis can traverse 10 miles with ease. They're highly motivated. Not to mention this canal, I hope that they searched it. I think there might be a fence around it. I'm not sure. And the only other place to cross really would be right here. Okay, now this is the part that I pinpointed here. This is where I wanted to kind of park and search for him. So our grid pattern, let's see, I took this road here. And I drove out into the desert, probably somewhere around here. I think I drove out like this. And the grid we ran something like this. And when we come back, we'll search this area here. And then we'll follow. And then I'm going to drive my Jeep much further out here. And I think we're going to do a grid pattern here too. Right in this area. I think the only water source would be right here, Beth. So I think this might be a good area to search on foot. But these are the power lines I was referring to that we flew up to. Oh, here's the tape measure on Google Earth. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. I'll probably be live here in a couple hours. But if you guys want to take a look at that footage, please do. Help yourself. It's going to be a meticulous process. The more eyes, the better. And I'll meet up with you guys a little bit later in the day. So take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.